Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to uh, Thursday. Lost track of the days, but yeah, Thursday night live stream. So I didn't really have anything specific to talk about tonight, which is kind of the title. I thought I'd let you guys kind of direct where the conversation goes. We don't really have to rant about things, so I'm sure maybe we will, but I just figured let you guys know. However, I will rant. I will start off with a little bit of a rant and I pre-ordered, or I didn't pre-order, it was in stock, so I went on and purchased off of the GameStop website the new DC Multiverse Hush figure from McFarlane. And of course what I was expecting was the regular painted figure, but instead what I got was this unpainted chase version, platinum edition one, which is a randomly inserted chase figure. So you know, not too happy with this. I wanted the painted regular version. Um, I'm sure maybe this one is a little more rare, so maybe long term it may end up being worth more. But now I've got to go and try and get another one, and hopefully it will be the regular version, not another unpainted one. But the idea behind a chase figure, back before the internet, where if you walk in the store and if you saw this on the pegs and you wanted to buy it, that's fine. But when you don't know what you're actually going to get when you're pre-ordering something or buying something online and you end up getting something like this, it's annoying. Now, the idea of the unpainted figure, which is something McFarlane started doing with their Warhammer figures. I mean, with the Warhammer figures, which is kind of was originally like a model type line where, people might be into painting their figures and stuff. It kind of made sense. Not to mention that those unpainted Warhammer figures were not sold as chase figures. They were just sold as part of a wave. So if you wanted the unpainted one, you could purchase the unpainted figure, or you purchase the painted one. It wasn't until they started doing it with like the DC Multiverse where they started making these randomly, inserted chase figures where you don't actually know what you're getting. So um, not too happy with this one. Again, I wanted the regular version. And if Todd, if you happen to be listening, maybe you should rethink your strategy there. Again, back before the internet, chase figures like that maybe made more sense. But considering that some people, in fact, probably a lot of people want their figures painted, having something sent to them that they don't really want is not really a good thing in my opinion. All right, so that's my rant for the day. Let's see who is in the house. Let's go down. Thousand Wolves, what's up? NECA versus Super 7. Star Wars sucking. G.I. Joe Classified, what the fuck? Jurassic Park winning. Spawn winning. DC losing. Marvel declining margin, and especially those motherfing exclusives. So Thousand Wolves apparently has a long list of things he wants to rant about tonight. Everett's in the house. What's up? Joseph is in the house. What's up? Lord Vengar is in the house. Clay, what's up? Blake is in the house. What's up? Omega, my rant is they are no Black Series nor Marvel Legends that I want at my local Target or Walmart. So Target has started to finally get some new Marvel Legends in. Maybe not the ones you want, but they finally did get the Thor wave, plus that Thor Target exclusive figure. So yeah, it was a little bit of a drought there for Marvel Legends at Target, but they do seem to be starting to stock again. Those Thor Target exclusive figures seem to be starting to warm pegs though, because I've seen them at multiple Targets. So I don't know. I have a feeling that one's going to be a little bit of a peg warmer. The only I haven't gotten that Thor figure, but the only thing tempting to me, I mean, I have the more recent classic Thor that they did, which is good enough for me. But the only thing about that Target exclusive one is the spinning hammer effect is tempting, but I can't see myself paying $30 just to get that. Dark Onen. What's up, Coco? Shumagorath, San Diego Comic Con exclusive now. I, the Mojo set, I believe, is what would be considered the San Diego Comic Con exclusive. But I don't think Hasbro's going to have any San Diego Comic Con exclusives ready to go by next month. So I feel like all you're going to be able to do is this year is pre-order stuff. But maybe I'm wrong. I think they'll have Sergeant Slaughter figures for G.I. Joe Classified there, though those aren't exclusives. But I have a feeling they're going to have Sergeant Slaughter himself at their booth so that you can get it autographed if you want. So I think like the Sergeant figure will be available first at San Diego Comic Con, but that one's not a San Diego Comic Con exclusive. VV, if the final figure in the Disney Plus Wave 3 isn't the She-Hulk, I'm guessing it could be either Classic Loki, President Loki, Kid Loki, or Yelena. We already got a Yelena. I mean, they could give us another one, but we already got a Yelena from the Black Widow movie, so I feel like we don't really need another one of her. I noticed this morning that I think it was Dan Young who posted on Twitter saying that they're not finished for the week. I guess, the assumption being that they're going to reveal something, and since they didn't do it today, I guess it's going to be tomorrow. However, somebody had said like, "Oh, my wallet's going to be hurting," and he said your wallet will be fine. So I don't know if it's going to be something where like they've sent something to one of their influencers, like a unreleased figure that's going to be posting like a review of it tomorrow. I don't, as far as I know of, unless it's like a store exclusive, I don't know of anything new going up for pre-order tomorrow. Now, next week, there will be something new for Marvel Legends going up for pre-order that we haven't seen. And it is something that I've told you is coming. So it'll be another rumor confirmed next week. But I don't know of anything for tomorrow. Now, another possibility for a reveal tomorrow could be something Disney Plus through Marvel.com. But like there was nothing in this week's episode of Miss Marvel that I would think would constitute getting an action figure. So I don't know. It's possible they could go and reveal the final figure in the Disney Plus wave, even if it isn't Miss Marvel related. But I don't know. But I noticed that clue this morning from Dan Young about they're not done for the week. So we'll have to see what comes out tomorrow. Chuck, what's the McFarlane pre-order? I don't know what it is, but yes, McFarlane also announced just a short while ago on their social media that something special is going from McFarlane Toys is going to be going up for pre-order on the Target website tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So don't know if it's DC Multiverse related, if it's Spawn related, if it's something else related. But something tomorrow is going to be going up for pre-order on the Target website, but I have no idea what it could be. Maybe it'll be one of those Black Adam figures, though I don't think either one of the ones that we've seen are Target exclusives. So, I don't know. But we'll find out tomorrow morning. Definitely, whenever it goes up, we'll post about it on TNI. But yeah, so be on the lookout for something tomorrow from McFarlane going up for pre-order. Michael, will there be a Masterverse figures based on the Masters of the Universe Revolution? It's the sequel to the Master. Will there be Masterverse figures based on the cartoon? I would imagine, but we've seen some leaked stuff that looks like is going to be coming in the line probably next year. So based on the Revelation cartoon, so but how much I have no idea. I mean, anything for the next season is going to be out probably not until next year. So I don't have my crystal ball doesn't look that quite far into the future. Well, the Clover again. Clover is the code name for the final figure, and Clover is the code name they use for the She-Hulk series. Plus, clovers are green. So those two things make me think it's probably going to be She-Hulk, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they could go on and show off a She-Hulk figure, even though the show hasn't premiered yet. You know, being that we've seen the trailers and everything, and you know, the wave. I don't think is going to be. You know, I think we're going to see the wave start to hit places, probably overseas before the U.S. But you know, I think that wave's going to start dropping. You know, much sooner than like the release dates that e-tailers are listing indicate. So my cat is upstairs, probably at the food bowl. Django. Well, we got a Django re-release not too long ago. What's up, sci-fi? Chuck, well, I mean, if by chance the She-Hulk is not the final figure in this wave, it's almost a guarantee then she would be in the next wave after that, being like wave 4. So there's no way we're not gonna get a She-Hulk figure from the Disney Plus series. So it's more of a question of when as opposed to if when it comes to She-Hulk. Jerry, yeah, I would have preferred like more of a civilian look for the character, but I guess it's all in material now. Omega, what is my most hated movie that completely disregards source material? Movie? I don't know. And hated is a strong word. I don't know. Like there are movies that like, you know, I think back to the original Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie and how far away from the source material that was, but I didn't hate that movie. It actually, you know, during at the time it came out, I actually, you know, kind of dug it, but that was definitely one that was totally way off from the source material. Coco wants to see a Titania Absorbing Man 2-pack. Matthew found Beastman yesterday. Nice. I checked my Target. Yeah, I checked a Target the day before, and then yesterday I had to go out for a doctor's appointment, so I went by, but no sign of Beastman yet in my local Targets. I suspect once he starts to show up, he won't be that hard to get. Most of those Masterverse figures have not, you know, they even though I think they're pretty cool, they've had a tendency to kind of pile up at Targets. So, and it's not a Target exclusive. If you caught my news video yesterday, it's just a timed exclusive to Target, so they have it until like the middle of July, but then everyone should start carrying it after that. Most Batman series disregard Batman mythos. I mean, if you look at the Gotham series, that really didn't follow Batman mythos terribly closely. But I actually, you know, I like the Gotham series that was on Fox. I'm not a, you know, as far as like, does it have, when they take something from like the comics or something, does it have to be exactly like it was in the comics? I'm not, for me personally, I'm not that much of a stickler for that kind of thing. As long as the story's good, I can enjoy it. I mean, even if you look at the comics, you get a lot of different alternate, you know, timeline type stories and stuff when they want to do different things with certain characters and stuff. So I just kind of view it just like that. Where I get annoyed with is when, you know, shows and stuff screw up continuity of what was already established for that show or movie. That's what tends to get on my nerves. So things like Star Wars and Star Trek and things like that have a lot of long history of continuity, you know, when they just start throwing that out the window, that's when I get annoyed. But if a show like veers from its original source material, as long as it's a good story, that generally doesn't bother me as much. Like I've been watching the first two episodes of the Miss Marvel series, Disney Plus. Now I'm not an aficionado. I have not read a lot of the comics with Miss Marvel. So I read a few of the Avengers and stuff where she's appeared. So I'm not like an expert on the character, but like I know her powers are, she like stretches her hand. She doesn't have like these light effects that she shoots out from her hands like we see in the TV series. But that doesn't bother me. So cat hasn't shown up, but my dog is here. Mr. Logan has arrived. Uh, he's leaving now. He just wanted to check in. But am I watching Obi-Wan? I am. I'm watching Obi-Wan. I watched the newest episode last night. I'm curious to see how this show ends. The thing with Obi-Wan, so there's a couple of things here and there. Like there was something in not this week's episode, but last week's episode that thought was kind of silly. But there's things throughout Star Wars that if you really kind of focus on are kind of silly. So I didn't really let that bother me. But the thing about the Obi-Wan series is like, you know what's going to happen with most of these characters, right? You know what's going to happen with Vader. You know what's going to happen with Obi-Wan. You know where Obi-Wan's going to end up. Vader is going to continue to be Vader. Luke and Leia are not going to be killed or anything like that. So it does take out some of the suspense, like, especially like in this week's episode, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but because you knew everything, you knew the main characters, what was going, they weren't going to be killed or anything like that. It kind of takes away some of the suspense, but otherwise, I thought it's been pretty good overall. Esther, the only thing is inflation. Yeah, I was like sitting here. Okay, what can I title the video about? And I didn't have nothing specific was coming to mind. So I was like, let's rant. What do you guys want to rant about? Inflation, high gas prices. I mean, that's not specifically toy related, but I think we can all rant about that. What's up, Captain? Jerry's cat's names are Twix and Snickers. Do you, like, when you get hungry, do you picture them as candy bars to satisfy your hunger? I'm just kidding. Those are cool names. My just for I think most of you know Salome, who generally, and then my other two cats are Finn and Garrett, but I call him Big G for short. And then Logan's the dog, which you just saw a few minutes ago. And they all came pre-named. I got all three of my cats and my dog came from a shelter, so they were already named. So it's only coincidence that my dog is named after Wolverine. I, I'm with you there, Soulcraft. I mean, the only reason why I'm not more upset is because I have a feeling that eventually Hasbro will make it available either on polls or somewhere. Show up maybe even at some place like a Big Bad Toy Store or something. Like we've been seeing a lot of the exclusive stuff. So the only reason I'm not more upset about that is I feel very confident that I will eventually get another shot at it. Michael Bay is going to rant about Transformer movies and how they suck. Michael Bay ones. JJ, that's a cool name. Sci-fi fantasy. Bubba Fett. Is is he a bounty hunter? Lord Venger's cat is named Jones. That's a pretty that's kind of a weird name for a cat. Not a bad name. It's just more of a human name than a because they named the dog Indiana. But bump. I wouldn't mind seeing Mace show up somewhere, not necessarily as a Sith Lord, but I wouldn't mind them bringing Mace Windu back. Linguini. Is your cat like Italian or something? Cat Bane? Yep, that's the word. There will be a Wonder Man series coming. Done by the same guy who did the Shang-Chi movie. Joseph's niece's and nephew's cat is named Melvin. Will they reboot them? I don't know if they'll reboot them, but they'll probably do something with aliens. I'm sure they won't let the franchise just totally die. Just like, we've got the new Predator TV series coming called Prey. I'm sure they'll end up doing something like that. Yep, the new Toxic Crusaders Wave 3 Ultimates are up on Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, probably anywhere else that carries Super 7 stuff. So like I usually end up giving my cats like nicknames. So like Salome, which she was named that. I didn't name her that. She already had that name, but like I call her Super Salome. Garrett, I call Big G. Big Big G goes around, like anytime he's like in a room, he acts like he owns the place. That's why I call him Big G. Like Logan, I call him Mr. Logan. I do that. I'll add Mr. or Mrs. a lot of times to their names. Power Turtle Busters. I could see, I mean, they work with Hasbro on a lot of things, so, they might, if they wanted to. I don't know if they want to. Probably because they order them in solid cases. And so only those two so far have shown up. And the other figures in the wave, the solid cases of the other figures have yet to show up. So that's why you see that. But a lot of times now, retailers, definitely the small ones, but even the bigger ones now, more and more, they order the figures in solid cases as opposed to like a mixed wave. So even though they're all part of the same wave, they ship in solid cases. That way they don't sell out of a particular figure as quickly. And also, if there's like a more popular figure in the wave, then they can order more of those. Like if it's an army builder or something like that. I doubt we're gonna, since there's only one episode left. I doubt we're gonna see him in the series. I'm still wondering if we're gonna see Qui Gon Jinn or a spirit of Qui Gon Jinn pop up at some point. Omega said he used to have a dog named Papas, which is potatoes in Spanish. Yeah, I've my the speedball figure came in, is sitting in my pile of loot. I'm waiting for the others, or at least US Agent, to come in before I have it ship out. But yeah, speedball. I didn't get the Iron Man figure because it doesn't have the build a figure piece, and I don't know. I may pick it up eventually, but I didn't pre-order the Iron Man figure, but I have all the others on pre-order at Big Bad. So I'm hoping U.S. Agent at least comes in pretty soon. It is all Qui-Gon's fault. If he just left Anakin on Tatooine to be a slave, none of this would have happened. Actually, that's not really true if you think about it, because Palpatine, say they had left Anakin, say they never found Anakin on Tatooine, and say Anakin just went off into nothingness and never amounted to a Jedi or a Sith or anything like that. But Palpatine still was around, and he still would have risen to power, and he still, and it was basically Vader who killed Palpatine or threw him over the rail of the Death Star. Didn't, I guess we now know, didn't actually kill him, but at least depowered him, and allowed the Empire to be taken down. So if Vader hadn't been around to do that, then Palpatine would have probably continued his reign as Emperor, and the Empire would have never fallen. So, and that's where it comes back around to Anakin being, the chosen one and bringing balance to the Force. So it took much longer, but if you think about it, if Anakin had not, if Qui-Gon had not taken Anakin off of Tatooine and brought him to the Jedi, then Palpatine likely would have still gained power, because he really didn't gain power because of Anakin, and then probably would have never been, Vader wouldn't have been there to basically grab him, unsuspecting, and throwing him over the rail, because Luke wasn't going to defeat Palpatine. Luke was getting his ass kicked by the Emperor in Return of the Jedi, and it was only because Vader had a change of heart and saved his son that saved the day. No, the Walmart, as far as I know of, has yet to put those two figures up for pre-order. I don't know what happened. I don't know when they're going to put them up for pre-order. Probably like at 3 in the morning tonight when nobody's awake, so only the scalper bots will be around to get them. But as of right now, those figures have not gone up on the Walmart website. How would I rank each Terminator movie? Terminator 1 is a classic. Terminator 2 is probably the best movie in the franchise. And then pretty much everything after that is total crap. So my theory is that Anakin was created by Palpatine. They hinted to that in the prequels, because Anakin never had a father. Just miraculously, Anakin's mother became pregnant. So, we all know that Palpatine likes to experiment with clones and all that crap. And so my feeling is he created Anakin to be the super powerful Jedi. I don't know if the intent was just to control him, or if maybe he was going, he wanted him to use his body, for himself or something. I don't know. But my theory is that he created Anakin, um, somehow, using the dark side of the Force and everything, and so technically I kind of consider Palpatine Anakin's father. How would you rank each of the Transformer movies? So I like the first Transformers movie. Bumblebee was okay, but 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 everything after the first Michael Bay Transformers movie to me is pretty crappy. Now, I'm basing my theory on Vader, Palpatine creating Vader solely on the movies. I have not read all the books and or all the comics and everything, so I don't know where they've gone with that kind of thing in those things. And I lose track on what's considered canon these days and what's not, but definitely in the movies they seem to hint that Palpatine had something to do with Anakin's creation and basically was there manipulating Anakin from day one. Neil says it's very obvious that all the world's problems come down to one thing. Toys are overpriced and yet we still buy them. Who's going to see the G.I. Joe animated movie in theaters? I have not bought any tickets. In fact, I haven't even checked to see which theaters it might be playing around here. I don't know. That's coming up, what, next week, I think? Have I heard how the merch for the next Transform movie shows how Bumblebee and I'm sure that stuff is leaked out, but no, I have not been following it that closely. Yeah, it's only showing like I think once. It's showing it's showing on two different days, but I think only once. So Maverick sounds like a GI Joe code name. Is Lightyear already in theaters? I'm not sure. I want to say yes. If not, then it's probably this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure. I forgot the new Jurassic Park movie opened in theaters last weekend. I started seeing people complaining about it, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's already out." Blade Star, what did you think of it? I've heard. Well, actually, most people I've seen online have apparently not liked it too much, but I like. Yeah, if you're talking about the figures, yeah, I like them. I hope they continue to do more, which I think they will. What was my introduction to GI Joe? The cartoon was the actually probably my first introduction was the comic book commercials that were like little mini cartoons. But I didn't really start collecting the toy until the cartoon itself started coming out, and then shortly after that I got into the comics. But it's the cartoon that got me really into GI Joe. Same thing with Transformers. Blade says okay, but not great. Joseph concurs. I have not. And speaking of which, I've been seeing people have the Usagi Jumbo figure in hand, and I'm like, I haven't gotten any kind of shipping notification on that. In fact, last shipping update I saw from NECA, that wasn't going to be out for a while. So I'm like, where are people getting that figure? And no, I don't know what's going on with the Loot Crate stuff. Loot Crate sent out, saying, June or July for the next ones to ship out. So we'll see if they actually ship them out then. I saw somebody asking that earlier. Dark says, people ranting about prices going up on everything can't do anything about it, so find something you're happy and focus on that instead. Fairly wise words. Just don't buy stuff that you can't afford. Like, don't keep buying. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. But yes, finding something you can enjoy that you can afford or whatever, definitely good advice. I did. I posted about it last night on TNI. In fact, I think I was the first place to report about it, other than the guys that did the interview. Um, but yeah, I saw that. I got to be honest though, I had to look up the character. I mean, it's a cool looking character, but I don't remember it from the cartoon. So I had to, when I saw them showing it off in that interview, I had to look them up because, so like I said, it's a cool looking character, but a very obscure one. But I feel like that's what we're getting down to with the turtle stuff. Uh, very obscure stuff, very obscure characters. But the robot cop looks pretty cool. I guess he's supposed to take on Chrome Dome. Yeah, Rex one from the cartoon line. Do I think there'll be figures based on the holiday special? I don't know. Will they actually look any different in the holiday special than they do in the movies? I could see them doing like a holiday Groot around the holiday times, like they do with the Star Wars figures. So I could see them maybe do, like as an exclusive. Yeah, that figure looks good. I gotta tell you, that's the best likeness I've seen on a multiverse McFarlane movie figure. So the guy who got his hands on it, he bought it from somebody. Like there was this event last week for influencers that The Rock was at, and they gave out some of those DC Multiverse figures, and of course somebody sold it on one of theirs on eBay, and so the guy who took the pictures bought the figure off of eBay. Um, but yeah, he took some nice pictures, so it gave us a really good in hand look at that figure. So I think it looks pretty good. And like I say, probably the best looking to as far as likenesses go, movie figure that I've seen McFarlane do. Dark, I work at the supermarket and people cry all day about prices. Just be glad we have food available, unlike, say, places like Russia. Well, I will tell you, as long as you can afford the prices, then you can be thankful. But there are people, as the prices continue to go up, are finding it harder and harder to be able to afford to buy the food. So, I understand why people are upset about the high prices, but certainly possible, but nothing I've heard of is coming. Omega says excited for the black. I think it's going to be a good movie. I'm kind of like the Flash, minus the actor who I guess is totally imploded on himself, but for the movie itself, it looks pretty good. And then Ezra Miller always seems to be in the news every day now doing something stupid, but the movie looks pretty good, and the Black Adam movie looks pretty good. So is that where they're getting them? Overseas sellers? I've seen more than one person have it, so that's why I was wondering if if they, what was going on. Rashid says working in a supermarket is hell. I I worked at a grocery store in high school, so I can concur with that. I don't know, man. I I have not checked up on that to see, if there's been any updates, but I don't know. I would have felt like they would have revealed that by now. So it's possible that ended up not happening. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. At one point, like last year, had seen indications there was going to be some type of Hawkeye 2 pack, and I've not seen anything more on it. And like I said, I would have felt like they would have shown that off when the show was on. So it makes me think, maybe that's not happening. I don't know if that means I was wrong, or if it's something that got canceled or held back or what. I don't know. And again, I haven't actually specifically checked on it to see if there's like still any listings for it or anything. So maybe I'll see if I can find anything out on that. Oh, you didn't know you could apply for a job during high school? Yeah, I think a lot of people get, it was a summer job. I didn't work in the middle, during the school year, but I worked at the summer. I worked at the grocery store. I think, a lot of parents expect their kids to go get a job, and, when they start to get older, and, in high school, usually, you're 16, you can start driving, things like that. So, part-time job. Well, they did a baby Luke and Leia in the 3 3/4 inch line. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or 6 inch. I gotta figure we will get a Kid Leia figure at some point. Jerry says he worked in a 7-Eleven in high school. Mega, you just want me to rank everything. So X-Men Fox movies, the first X-Men, well, the second X-Men is probably the best one. The first X-Men is pretty good. I consider that a classic. The third X-Men is total crap. Days of Future Past is pretty good. The other X-Men movies, not that great. So I'd go 2, 1, and then Days of Future Past. Joseph says he now has 3 jobs. Do I think Hasbro Marvel team will have more waves? So yes, should be. I know there's movie waves, like there's a Black Panther wave. There's a I'm trying to think now from memory. But yes, now I don't know with movie schedules changing and stuff. I don't know how that's affected things, but yes, that as far as I know of, there should be a few more things. Like originally, there was supposed to be another Disney Plus wave coming out towards the end of the year, but I don't know if that's gotten pushed. So, Kamakura, I got it off of Amazon with free shipping because of being a Prime member, so it was only $33 for me, but a little pricey. But I figured, what the hell. According to Amazon, that figure today was the number one seller for action figures, the Kamakura classified figure. So I guess it's doing pretty well as far as sales go on Amazon. But Apple Jacks are so good. I used to just like sit there and without it any milk or anything. I just eat the Apple Jacks out of the box, and I could eat those all day. But you're right, they don't taste like apples. They taste like cinnamon. That's not true. They are carrying Marvel Legends. They've started getting in the Thor wave. They just shipping delays caused, where they didn't have anything to put out on shelves. But Walmart is in fact starting to get more new Marvel Legends in. Both the Thor movie wave and the Target exclusive Thor are hitting Target shelves now. We got a wind charger not too long ago. It's a pretty good figure. I forget which line it was under, but it's weird for a boy to play with girl toys because I did when I was a little kid. I, I would go into my sister's room and play with her Barbies from time to time. I didn't like collect Barbies or anything like that, but yeah, Titan Returns. I think you're right. There's a good Braun figure. I mean, they've done a lot of the small guy. We need a Gears. We need Gears. I'm trying to think. We've gotten Huffer. We've gotten a good Huffer. We've gotten Cliff Jumper. We've gotten Bumblebee. And then we've got like Beachcomber, Power Glide. I think Gears out of the original G1, like mini Transformers, I think is the only one we haven't gotten in the modern line, in any of the modern lines. Sugar Smacks were pretty good. I never was into Cocoa Puffs. I'd eat Fruit Loops sometimes, but Apple Jacks were better than Fruit Loops. Adventures continue. The DC Direct one. I'm not sure if that's the one you're meaning. Well, I mean, I want to, the Stunticons, which look pretty good. The new Menasor is looking pretty good. So, but I agree if that one comes out as good as it's looking, then I hope they do like the Aerial Bots, Superion. I'd rather see the Combaticons before the Protectobots. But oh, was he? That sucks. We definitely need Gears. Gears came out in the Trilling 30 line. I don't remember any modern Gears, at least that look like the G1 toy. Cuckoo is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, I know. I was always more of a Kellogg guy than was it General Mills? Like I never really got into Captain Crunch or Cocoa Puffs. Cookie Crisp. I always liked the Cookie Crisp. I'd eat those all the time. I don't know how we got into talking about cereals. Big Bad Toy Store has that wave in stock. Brandon says Big Bad Toy Store and GameStop have the Catwoman in stock. I've watched them all, but G1 is my favorite. And like most of the others, I've only like watched like one time, so I'm not nearly as familiar with them. Beast Wars, like I didn't watch Beast Wars when it originally came out, but I watched it later. Like I have the DVDs of the Beast Wars, and I watched it when they put them out on DVD. But I actually did not get into Beast Wars when it originally came out, and I never really collected the toys. Corn Pops, yep, I could eat Corn Pops. Frosted Flakes. Now, Corn Flakes, Lord Banger says he found a large black spider in his Captain Crunch and never ate. Yeah, that'd probably be there with you. I Yeah, Transformer Prime was actually a pretty good cartoon. My reaction was, I mean, I had some tears in my eyes, but it wasn't like the end of the world. Though I didn't really ever like, I wasn't a huge Rodimus Prime fan. Yeah, the Protectobots. I had all the original Protectobots as a kid, and I have the more recent one that they did. Oh, I I remember getting the Droid cereal, and I think there was a Batman cereal that I got once. And I would get cereals for, some of the pack-in stuff occasionally, just for that. Like I remember, I think it was Kellogg that did like the lightsaber spoons that lit up. I still have some of those. I don't remember Lego sets and Fruit Loops, but I didn't like Transformers Armada that much. I did like Transformers Animated, and Transformer Prime was pretty good. And Beast Wars, I ended up liking when I watched it on DVD. But I mean, for me, G1 is still the best. I blame Hasbro. I always thought it was funny how like how easily the Autobots got killed in the movie. You know, throughout the series, they could get shot up, they get crashed, you know, but they'd always get fixed up, repaired, never died. And then all of a sudden, the movie, it was like one shot, boom, you're dead. Starscream, boom, you're dead. You know, it was like all of a sudden they became so easy to kill. I gotta be honest, I think I was more upset that Starscream got killed than Optimus Prime. Have I watched every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series and movies? Yes, definitely on the movies. For series, I definitely watched the original series, and I watched the most recent one. No, not the most recent one. The one before the most recent one I watched, but I did not watch the most recent one where like they made April a little girl or something like that. I did not watch that one, and I don't remember if there were any in between those. Like I think there wasn't there like a live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle TV series or something. I don't think I watched that. I didn't really like the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, the Michael Bay one. I didn't think, you know, either one of those were that good. Yeah, Starscream getting killed sucked though. I did like when they brought him back as a ghost, and then I thought it was really cool when they actually brought him into the Beast Wars series. So, and I liked Galvatron in the movie, but then I hated Galvatron in the regular cartoon. And like Turtle, like I watched the original Turtles cartoon, but like I have not like watched that series. I don't think since it originally aired. So like whereas like GI Joe and Transformers and He Man and Thundercats, those I've watched, you know, much more recently. So like you know, I I couldn't like recite specific things in a lot of the episodes of the original Turtle cartoon. So that's like when there's a character that maybe only appeared once in the cartoon. I'm like the Rex one. Like I don't really remember that character, and it's like it's weird because most of the cartoons are very easily accessible these days. But I don't think there's any place that streams the Turtle cartoon, the original Turtle cartoon. So it's very hard to go back and watch that. Yeah, he came back as a ghost in season 3, and then he actually was also in the Beast Wars cartoon. Yeah, I like Cyclonus in the cartoon in the series. But it was the same thing with like Serpentor. I mean, I like Serpentor until like they just started going way over the top where like every other thing was this I command, and it just got annoying. I mean, and with Galvatron, they just made him so crazy, and yeah, it just got kind of idiotic. Well, he was in a lava pit, and supposedly that shorted out his brain circuits or something. But I remember in the G.I. Joe cartoon how I always hoped that Cobra Commander, which eventually did, but um, in the Dick series, which kind of sucked. But I always hoped that like Cobra Commander, he was always trying to get power back from Serpentor, and I was always like hoping that Cobra Commander was going to regain power. I think check Shout Factory. I think I think they still carry those. I have them all on DVD, but they're also available like on some of the streaming services or YouTube. I mean, Hasbro put up a lot of them on YouTube. So I think 2B Television or whatever it's called, I think also has them. But as far as DVDs, check Shout Factory. They're the ones that the most recent company that put them out on DVD. So I think that's your best place to. They have a website. Just Google Shout Factory. I think because the series was starting to go downhill, it was losing viewership, and so probably less money. Though, if you go and you look at like the episode that that Optimus Prime comes back to life in, where they like paint themselves in gold and stuff, the animation on that is like on par with the movie. So it's like really weird. They really like went all out on that one episode. No, see, well, season three is the season after the movie, and yeah, that did air in the U.S. And it, the after the movie, and then they did a limited series, a Headmaster limited series, which also aired in the U.S. And that was the last thing as far as G1 goes that aired in the U.S. Yeah, that's kind of true, I think. But I think in the cartoon they basically said because he was in that lava pit and like he would see these little electricity things on his head. I think it shorted out his mental circuits or something. Being in that lava pit that he crashed into after Rodimus threw him out of Unicron. Is he in Roadhouse? Was the same actor who did Cobra Commander as it did Starscream. Season three was the full final season of G1 Transformers, which again is the season that takes place after the movie. And then there was a limited series, a Headmaster limited series that picked up after that season. So it wasn't a full season, but that was the last G1 based cartoon to air in the US was that Headmaster limited series. It was like a 5-part limited series. 3-part or 5-part? I think 5-part. Yeah, he lost Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, Leonard Nimoy voiced him in the movie. The series finale was the Headmaster series. So, like, I think it ended with like Scorponok and Galvatron flying off into space or something like that. If I remember correctly. Speaking of X-Men cartoon, who remembers that one shot episode of X-Men? It was a one, like they only did one episode. It was before the X-Men animated series, but it was like, yeah, well, you'll find those voice actors from the 80s. They were in a lot of different cartoons and stuff. Yeah, prior to the X-Men. And of course, the X-Men also appeared in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And I remember Wolverine, like whoever voiced Wolverine had like an Australian accent, so it was pretty funny. Yeah, of the Fox X-Men animated series, but I don't think that one shot is on Disney Plus. Yeah, well, once again, I think it was, the show was starting to lose steam, ratings were down, which meant they had less money. I think you see that a lot with cartoons. Well, I'm pretty sure it was the Amazing Spider-Man. Maybe it was the probably the X-Men. I don't know. Yeah, but there was definitely something where you had an Australian accent. But I think it was the Spider-Man His Amazing Friends where you had the Australian accent. Because I remember him cutting like a piece of fruit and like eating. He was basically eating fruit off of his claws. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they thought Wolverine was Australian and not Canadian. I don't know. Yeah, in the X-Men or in the Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. Yeah, they fought. Well, the X-Men appeared, I think, two different times in the Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends, and one time they fought Juggernaut, and the other time they were in some I forget who the bad guy was, but like somebody took over the X-Men mansion, but they actually appeared two times in the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends series. Has he Devil? I don't think it was commit. I don't remember who the villain was in the second episode of Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. For me personally, I like the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. Which was the Spider-Man cartoon that was on MTV for a while? It was kind of like a CGI almost. I forget which one that one was. That wasn't actually too bad. Came out like at the time of the first Spider-Man movie. A Giganta from Challenge of the Super Friends. I don't see them doing something like that for DC Multiverse, but who knows? Yeah. I think yeah, it was Neil Patrick Harris that voiced Spider-Man in that MTV series, but I forget the name of it. Was that it? Spider-Man the new animated series? I don't remember that episode with Namor. I'll have to go back and look at that. Those are all available on Disney Plus. Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. The thing I didn't like about probably the worst storyline in the '90s Spider-Man series was the Secret Wars storyline. I didn't like that very much. I mean, it was cool seeing all those different Marvel characters, but I didn't like how they did that. One of my favorite X-Men animated series episodes is the one with Captain America, where it's like a flashback to World War II and they take on the Red Skull. I like that. That's one of my favorites. Did they? They must have done that recently because I never really watched Mask. I watched Transformers and He-Man, but Mask, it was on at a weird time where I lived, and so it was on like late in the morning, and so I was usually in school when it came on. So, and I never collected the Mask toys, so I was never that much into Mask. For me, '80s cartoons, GI Joe, Transformers, He-Man. I watched She-Ra. Never collected the She-Ra toys. Never really collected the He-Man toys, but I watched both She-Ra and He-Man and Thundercats. Those were my primary cartoons. And of course, like Saturday mornings, I'd watch Spider Man and His Amazing Friends and The Incredible Hulk. And then later on, I'd watch some of the stuff on Fox. Obviously, the X Men animated series and the Spider Man animated series. And then there was an Iron Man series and a Fantastic Four series. Those weren't nearly as good, but I watched those. And I watched Turtles, Turtles on Saturday mornings on CBS. Cyberlad. Yeah, because he like tapped into the danger room or something and took it over, if I remember correctly. Gobots was another one that I watched occasionally, but again was on at a really weird time late in the morning. Like there was Mask, Gobots, Jason the Wheeled Warriors was another one, and they all came on like late mornings. They were in syndication, so the channel that where I lived, they showed them late mornings, and so they came on basically after I left for school. So the only time I was able to ever watch them is if like I stayed home sick or something. I don't remember what the first one was. I can tell you probably the two horror movies that scared me the most as a kid was the Amityville Horror movie, because supposedly, it was always said it was based on a real story. So that one always scared the shit out of me. And then Salem's Lot, which is actually a TV movie, but that one scared me pretty bad. I was never really scared by movies like Friday the 13th or Halloween. Well, the first Halloween movie, maybe a little bit, but those movies really didn't scare me that much. And of course, my mom, who was always like sci-fi movies and stuff. My mom, when I was a little kid, took me to see the first Alien movie. So that one scared me a little bit. When the alien jumped out of the guy's stomach and stuff. Yeah, I watched the latest season of Stranger Things. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely liked it better than the season 3. I thought season 4 was going to be like part 2 of season 4 was going to end it, but then I heard there's a season 5. So I do feel like the series is kind of running its course, but so far at least season 4 I thought was pretty good. I have not watched Morbius yet. I know it's out on like, on demand, but I think I'm going to wait. I've heard so many bad things about it. I think I'm just going to wait till I can watch it for free. I had a couple of the Crystar figures, but I never watched. And I had one issue of the Marvel comic run, but I that wasn't something I ever really got into. Well, I don't know if those were my first, but my mom and dad took me to see both of those movies in the theater. So I don't remember them scaring me like I'm sure they probably did, but I don't remember them scaring me quite that much. Like when I think about, like I said, when I think about back to movies that really scared me as a kid, the two that stick out the most is Amityville Horror, and like I swore I would never step foot in that house, and then Salem's Lot for some reason. That the kid tapping on the window, I don't know why, but that just like really like, and I remember like always, like if I hear something like outside or blowing against the window or something, I would like get scared because of that scene of the kid like just sitting there tapping on the window. Out of like all those franchise slasher movies, Halloween was definitely my favorite. I don't think it necessarily, you know, it didn't like give me nightmares type scare, but it was definitely, I never really liked Friday the 13th that much. Um, and Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. That's probably out of like, again, those franchise slasher movies. I'd probably rate Halloween and then Nightmare on Elm Street. I always kind of felt like Friday the 13th was just kind of silly. What's up, Gotti? Yeah, Tony. Right? I mean, that movie just it was like a made for TV. I mean, it was a Stephen King movie, so obviously, but I guess I would say movies that always seem like were plausible, more realistic, are the ones that scared me the most. So like Friday the 13th just never seemed realistic. I mean, you knew those were always predictable, and you knew he was always going to end up living at the end and all that. So those just never really scared me as much. But a movie that was kind of had like you could imagine being real, and I know probably Salem's Lot with the vampires is a little bit of a stretch, but it just like I said, it scared me. And then like Amityville Horror, because it's supposedly, I as an adult and I did more research on it, I learned it was basically all bullshit. But back then it was like I remember it In Search Of, which was a series that Leonard Nimoy did, and I remember like they did this thing on the Amityville Horror House and stuff, and so that one just really scared the shit out of me. But all right, Joseph, take it easy, man. Thanks for dropping in. In fact, we're gonna be ending here pretty soon. It's getting on to 8:30, but yeah, the first well, the first Alien movie, that was pretty scary. Like I said, back then nobody was expecting, the scene where the alien busts out of the dude's stomach. That was like that's classic. Um, and the second Aliens is pretty. Aliens is actually I like Aliens better than Alien, but both movies were really well done. Now every Alien movie after that I thought was total crap, but those first two Alien movies were definitely really good. Predator, and I mean, again, didn't give me nightmares, but Predator, had me on the edge of my seat. The first Predator movie. I mean, you knew at the end of the day Arnold was going to win the day, but and that's still one of my favorite, uh, movies is the original Predator movie. Yep, both Aliens. I remember seeing them in the theater. I don't. I was pretty young when the first Alien movie came out. Shining, yeah, that is another one. I didn't see The Shining in the movie theater though. I saw that on TV, but yeah, that one was actually pretty. That one was pretty good. Body Snatchers, yeah, that's actually another. That's that one I did see in the theater, but that's a Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Predator 2 is okay. It's not nearly as good as the first one, but I can watch Predator 2. But yeah, everything after Predator 2, I've never found to be that great. Well, like when they did the Prometheus movies, I was definitely kind of hoping like, they would give us more background and stuff, but I just wasn't really Gremlins. I don't think I found Gremlins. I didn't see Gremlins in the theater, but I don't think I really found that one to be scary. Like I didn't go to a lot. I My mom was into sci-fi, so Aliens, Predator, those were movies that she would take me to the theater to see. Jaws, we went to see. I think we went to see both Jaws and Jaws 2. Um, but like horror movies like Friday the 13th and those, my mom wasn't, my mom and dad weren't really into horror, so we didn't go to the theaters to see those. So those I didn't usually see until like they came out on cable or what have you. So most of those movies I did not see in the theater when they originally came out. See, and I was really young when the first Alien movie came out too, but I feel like even if I was older, that movie still would have like, at least had me on the edge of my seat. Like I have a feeling I would have jumped out of my seat when that alien busts out of the guy's stomach and stuff. Yeah, I've seen that. Not in the theater, but I've seen that movie. As an adult, I mean, nothing where I'm like having nightmares, but I mean, some of the trying to think if there's like been a modern horror movie or that anywhere in that area that I can't really like I never really got into Scream, like the Scream movies. I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know. I can't, nothing comes to mind for like modern horror movies that have like really scared. The Thing, I mean, yeah, I did not see that in the theater, but that's another pretty decent one. I hate zombie movies. I don't know. I wouldn't say that they necessarily scare me, but I've never liked zombie movies because they always at the end, like something happens. Like you go through all of that and they survive everything, and then like, whoop, I scratched your neck. Now you're a zombie. And I've never liked zombie movies that much. I'm trying to think. Is that is that the one where it starts off and the guys in the standing in front of Michael and at the penitentiary? I don't know. The Halloween movies have not. I mean, they've been the more recent ones were better than the ones in the middle, but that's another franchise that I feel like has just kind of been overplayed. I mean, the music of the Halloween movie is the best thing to me. And I've never watched uh in its entirety. I've never watched like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies or like the Hellraiser movies. Those are ones I've never really even watched that much. Like I've maybe seen bits and pieces of. Actually, kind of funny, but like last week's episode of the Orville, that actually I thought was really good. Um, and that had me like kind of jumping a little bit, on the edge of my seat. And what was that movie? Oh, it's another Stephen King movie with Emilio Estevez, and it's got the truck with the Joker or the Green Goblin face on it. I forget the name of that movie, but that one was actually kind of. I remember that one being kind of scary. Yes, I've watched Nightmare. I've seen most of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and this. I remember the series. I used to watch the series they had. Maximum Overdrive. Yeah, that's a pretty scary movie. All right, well, it's 8:30, so I think we're gonna call it a night. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys coming and chatting with me, hanging out. Be back next week. Probably have a news video up tomorrow. Who knows whether those Black Series Star Wars figures are ever gonna go up for pre-order? Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. And then don't forget tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, some McFarlane toy figures going up for pre-order on Target. So we'll have to see what that is. But yeah, so thanks for checking in tonight, guys. As always, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.